don't believe tourists. We ask the locals.
Actually, you can find the oldest crocodile in Congo.
The oldest crocodile?
Yeah, which is over 100 years.
But important to know for our listeners, so listeners, take care if you're there. After 6, you're not allowed to get to the river Congo.
Yeah. It's Dengenini.
Dengenini.
Yeah.
Dengenini, well, it's actually not so hard. So tourism in Congo, big thing.
There is so many species there. It's incredible to see the beauty of it. I was so amazed. It's just a different world. So since 1996, more than 6 million people have been killed. I think even the number must be higher than this. And I don't understand why any government are not taking major steps or major decision to stop this war.
Hi, Sylvaine.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Marco.
Yeah, same, and what a pleasure to have you here today in my podcast. Well, just to get a small overview why we are here today in Vienna, and let our listener know where you're born and raised.
So I was born and raised in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I was born in Kinshasa, which is the capital of Congo.
Yeah.
So I basically, I would say, moved from Congo when I was around my early, I would say, 20s. And then I moved to France, where I did my bachelor and then my master's. And obviously I was looking to have a work experience abroad. And out of nowhere, because I never imagined that I could come here in Vienna, I had this opportunity, a work opportunity to join a French company. It's an affiliate from a bigger one. And I passed the interview and they accept me as a marketing manager. So I was very happy and excited to move away from France. At that time it was during the pandemic, so the economical situation was very unstable and frightening for people who just finished their studies and were looking for a new job to start their career. So I was very happy and fortunate to come here in Vienna. So here I am.
Well, I'm also really happy that you're here now and that we get to know each other and that we have the chance to speak today about the Democratic Republic of Congo. As you already mentioned, there are two different countries called Congo. There's the Republic Congo, the smaller one, and the big one, Democratic Republic of Congo, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's historically based.
Yeah.
So all in all, I guess many of our listeners don't know Congo really well. So please give us a small overview about the Democratic Republic of Congo.
So DRC, it's actually the second biggest country in Africa, after Algeria, I believe. And we actually represent it's the second biggest rainforest as well in the world.
Next to Amazonas, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
after the Amazon.
Yeah.
So DRC has had a huge history since, I think, well, before the colonization, obviously, but most people know the story of Congo when you start from the Independence Day, which was stated in 1960.
Yeah.
So it's very recent. We are very new into this democracy, and we are adapting throughout our political history. DRC, it's very beautiful. Not many people know about it or even visited it because, unfortunately, there has been a lot of civil wars which made the country unstable for many years due to the fact that in Congo it's one of the poorest country, unfortunately, in terms of salary for the population. but is also one of the richest country in terms of soil richness, soil raw materials, and this is why a lot of conflict still going on until today. But the beauty of Congo, I think, it's the natural wildfire that we have in terms of animals, different flora. Actually, you can find the oldest crocodile in Congo.
The oldest crocodile?
Yeah, which is over 100 years, and you can find him in one of the gardens, botanical gardens that we have in DRC. Yeah, so that's funny.
That's a fun fact,
Yeah.
really interesting. But if we are already at the animal parts, Congo is anyway very special for animals. There are also the gorillas, right, which are also quite seldom around the world.
I think it's actually just the only part left where we can find this kind of gorillas with it's called silverback.
Yeah, the silverbacks.
The silverback.
They're quite famous out of movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely. And they're very big and
Yeah.
huge and strong. So they live in community, mainly in the east side of Congo, next to the frontier with Rwanda. And they're protected, obviously. But I never been there, fortunately, so I cannot say much.
That also should be on your bucket list, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
If we are able to make a bucket list for our listeners afterwards, would be perfect. So we already have one thing. They have two things actually. They have to visit.
It's a must.
A must see already. Cool. That would be actually a question afterwards, but if we go with the flow, we already have two things to do.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for the general overview. And just missing, you said it's the second biggest country, so the population is nearly...
It's nearly 90 million.
90 millions, yeah.
Obviously, there is a lot of ethnicity. So we have different languages in Congo. But the main languages that are spoken, the official one is French, because obviously we were colonized by Belgium. And then we have the local language, which is Lingala. This is mainly spoken by the majority of Congolese. And then we have the Swahili. Swahili is mainly coming from the east of Congo. But as I say, there is a lot of ethnicity, and each people who lives there recognize the difference, the small difference in culture and habits.
So as you told me already before the podcast, you speak Lingala too. So we'll ask you in the end a few words in Lingala.
Okay.
So if our listeners travel to Congo,
Yes.
they already can impress locals with some words in Lingala.
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking forward to learn some words.
Okay.
And believe me, I'm not the best in it.
No, all right.
No. Let's wait for it.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, let's speak a bit about nature and all the richness of Congo. You already told us you have a lot of raw materials there, and there's also one very, very specific raw material which is nearly like gold nowadays. Which is it?
It's called coltan. Obviously, as I mentioned, we have different raw materials that you can find. It could be gold, it could be diamond, and many others rare raw materials. So we have one of the biggest mines, again, in the east of Congo, but there is a lot of controversy because of many civil wars and people being, unfortunately, I would say, pressured and not having also the right salary to work in good conditions.
Yeah, it's always this conflict, you know, if you have the raw material, there's always fights about it and everything, but still it's a big economical opportunity.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very huge.
Exactly. But is there also tourism in Congo a big thing?
Tourism, I believe, is starting to develop now because we are finding a sort of stability again in terms of political stability. And there has been a lot of changes. For example, there is a lot of national parks that have been created in order to protect different species of animals and to provide an environment of protecting the natural habitat. There is so many species there, it's incredible to see the beauty of it. I was so amazed. It's just a different word. It's really amazing. The water, what can I say? It's you should really visit those places, and there are a lot of different spots that are developed in terms of, like, you can find places to eat, to sleep. Many spots where people can now go and visit and discover more.
Very cool. Well, but we already spoke about the conflicts. So you said it's more stable nowadays. So people are mostly too afraid to go to DRC, right? Most of the time.
Yeah.
But tell our listeners really the truth, how it is. If they go, what they should look about. Is it really dangerous? Is it able to go out in the night and things like that?
So I would mainly say that if they're going to the capital, they should not be worried. However, it's always better to go there with a local or someone who knows the country, because you could be maybe in terms of paying things, you could pay more than what it is, because people will obviously
the price level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to negotiate or to say, no, you are kidding me. It's not that price, because they know when you're not local. And obviously, just to be careful that no one kind of steals your luggage out of the airport. It does not happen anymore, but it used to happen before. So
Okay, it already starts at the airport that they steal your luggage.
it could happen, but today it's very much more organized.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, you need to present the paper of your luggage. Like, you know, when you have the tag on your luggage, and you have to have the
second
other.
one,
Exactly. So you need to present that in order to have your luggage back. So this is a level of security. But then when you go out, there are people who will come and say, we will help you to carry your luggage. So you have to be careful.
Okay, the
And
people afterwards.
Afterwards,
now I understand
exactly.
totally.
And you need to pay them, because for them it's a job.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to find means to survive. And
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, so you need to be with someone who knows.
Tip
And
them, yeah.
exactly. So I think also,
Would you suggest to book a trip, like a tour guide in advance, that people go with a group, or how do you suggest to travel to TRC?
if they want to go there like really as pure tourists, then yes, they should book a sort of safari or just tour guide in order to see the main spot in Kinshasa and the surrounding. I don't know any agency yet who does that, but I'm sure it does exist.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and probably they can even go outside the capital and go further inside the countries, inside the cities and other parts. But if they want to come in Congo just to visit, then they don't necessarily need to pre-book something pre-made.
Okay, so it's also possible to go there as a backpacker. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of backpacking, so
Okay.
I did safari, but more in south of Africa. But if I would go there as a backpacker, that would be also possible if I
Yeah.
have some experience about Africa and some travel experience.
Oh, yes, you could. But I will always say be with someone who knows. You
Yeah.
never know,
Okay.
because depending on where you're going, it's always safer to not to be alone.
Totally got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And is there something what you really want to add to that if people are traveling?
Well, I just wish that this is a personal statement, that the local government could improve certain streets in Congo, because unfortunately, the city center, the main town, it's well developed, the street is well made, and you have many buildings that are building right now. So you have a lot of places you can go out to have drinks, fancy drinks, eat to very nice restaurants and places. However, once you go outside the main city center, you can really see, quote, the ugly side of the capital, which is very dirty, unfortunately, because there is not a good system of just having a trash bag, or
Okay, there are not that much waste paper baskets, and so
exactly,
trash is all around.
it's all around. People just throw things in the street, and it becomes like a public trash deposit,
So there, outside of the city, are deposits of trash, like hills, more or less, with trash.
Exactly.
To sum it up, so it's like if you're in the center of the city, then you think, okay, that's pretty beautiful, and there they look after. But outside there are trash hills.
Yeah.
And also the traffic is crazy.
It's crazy.
So if we travel there, we shouldn't get a car and drive through TRC. That's quite dangerous.
It's very, it's dangerous.
Especially at the urban parts, right?
Exactly, and you will be stuck just for like 5 hours.
And for a European, it's not
possible
to travel. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard, yeah.
It's very hard.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
But on the nature side, it would be easier, obviously, right?
On the nature side, yeah, if you're with someone who knows where to go, because obviously there is still risk. You might have like snakes or anything more like dangerous, but it's much more easier by foot. However, as well, if you are going there with like a big truck or a jeep, it's very difficult. The roads are very difficult. Sometimes you can have a lot of mud after a heavy rain, because there is tropical rain, and it's even for people internally, when they are having like they need to trade, it's very difficult for them.
Yeah.
So
if you are a driver there, you have to be a good driver.
Yeah, absolutely, and know all the tricks and turns.
Or use the normal safari tours, which are
much more accessible.
Yeah, exactly, which all the people do. So there's some, as I made my research, I found out there's some safari tours which all the people do, and that's probably able to do.
Yeah.
Still, you need a good SUV, like a Toyota Hilux or something.
Yeah. Toyota is one of the best brands you can use in Congo, actually.
Yeah. All the national parks which I saw in Africa are breathtaking. And I can imagine in Congo it's even a step further, because you have all the special animals which don't exist all around the world anymore, right?
Yeah, completely. For me, I of course I have a lot in my bucket list. I just want to visit more internally. It's in the southwest, and it's called Maindombe. Yeah, it's actually the name of the lake. And the region is called Bandundu. So it's very beautiful, because actually you can still find some old houses from the colonization. And all around is surrounded by nature, and you have the small villages. They have like a local market. You can buy fresh fish, everything fresh, and you just live a simple life there, and it's just amazing. I was so happy to see that.
Okay, so if you're in Congo, you can travel around with small planes, which are a bit adventurous, but as you can do that, it's pretty fine. Is there any secret spots which you want to point out, or was that already your secret spots, what people definitely should see in Congo?
If you go to the Virunga Park, which is in the east side of Congo, it must be very beautiful, or to see these gorillas, just a unique experience.
As we said in the beginning of the podcast, for sure.
Exactly.
So to sum it up, the natural part of Congo is definitely a place where you should
be.
check it out. doesn't matter in the
Completely.
east or in
Yeah.
the south side.
Completely.
Yeah.
For me, that's the best part of Congo.
Is it quite normal that people which are living in Congo that they just stay in their city, like capital, like the people who lives in the capital, they stay their whole life more or less in the capital, right? So
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, if you are born in the city, you stay in the city, or you travel to other countries because you must
you have so
know.
much neighbors.
Yeah, we
Like
have a lot of
DRC, there's-
neighbors, true, but we don't really travel to our neighbors, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we do travel to the small Congo because there is just a Congo River separating us, and also there is this difference of social status. So when you're in Congo, you're rich or you're poor. Now there is a start of, I will say, average
Like the middle class.
middle class, but it's just starting now.
You give me a hint. I totally forgot about to speak about the River Congo, which is most important thing because it gives the name to the state, and it's the deepest river in the world. I read before, and it gives the country a lot of water, right?
Yes, so it is the main source of, I would say, water. Although we don't drink that water because it's very untamed and very strong. So you have to be careful when you are on the river. But there are some part where you can actually be on the boat and visit around the city of Kinshasa.
That's actually true because there's a lake, right? The river makes a lake in the middle, and
Yeah.
they're the two capitals of DRC and of Republic Congo on both sides of the river, right?
Exactly.
Ah, yeah.
So in that spot, you can actually use a boat because it's much more quiet. Like there is no strong courant.
Okay, there's not a stream like
Yeah,
a strong
exactly.
stream. Okay, nice. So is it possible to go from one capital to another? Because the border is directly the river, right?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, so you can go
But
by boat.
It's controlled that when you arrive in the other border, you have document check.
Your passport. Okay, I see.
Exactly.
So it's not a tourist thing to go
No,
there.
no. You have to, and there are also hours. You cannot be on the river after 6. It's absolutely forbidden. I don't know exactly, but that's how it is. You cannot be with your boat around, like, floating after 6. It's completely banned.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, there are police
But
there.
important to know for our listeners. So listeners, take care if you're there. After 6, you're not allowed to
To
get to the river Congo.
yeah.
I see. Okay, but to sum it up, like your country has a lot to see, like natural things. There is the river Congo with lakes, and there's a small entrance to the seaside, which is driving is quite dangerous. We found out.
Yes.
You have the oldest crocodile in
Alive.
the world, alive, exactly. You have the gorillas,
Yeah.
which are very special. And well, there is one question which is really important for me about the European Union. As we know, Europe Direct is part of our podcast also, and I'm curious, is there any relationship with the European Union in Congo?
Obviously, we do have representative in different embassies that represent their countries.
Obviously,
Amongst them, we have France, Belgium, Austria as well.
Especially with your history with France and
Yeah.
Belgium, right?
Yeah, exactly. So there is a lot of commitment from these embassy to work with the local government and to provide protection or education for people who need it. Obviously, there are a lot of orphanages, and in these orphanages, this embassy provide help for them, perhaps to have access to education and food, and to travel.
Okay, so you feel the education and helping programs from the European Union?
Yes, there is a lot of improvement. Obviously, it could come from private help
Yeah.
or from
Conversations.
government help.
Yeah.
To really have a focus on education. And they also made available some, I think the primary school and secondary school now are free in most of...
Well, that's a big step.
Yeah, that's a big step.
So in the past you had to pay for it.
In the past you had to pay.
Okay.
I think maybe there are some fees that you can still pay. You have to pay, but specifically I don't know which ones, but they are making it more accessible. And I think it's a beautiful focus because we need that.
Well, that's human right.
Exactly, basic
Gain
human
education,
rights.
yeah. But is it easy to stay in Europe for you guys? Do you need a visa or how does it work?
Yes, you need a visa to travel to Europe, and you need to basically go through interviews to see if you're eligible in first end. The best way, obviously, is to go there as a student. You need to have a mean of why you're going to Europe and not just going for doing nothing, or you want to work, or you just want to develop yourself and then come back in Congo in order to share this knowledge. Or you can join a family member in Europe, but you have to have a visa. Yeah. Absolutely.
I see. So things are going in the right direction. You want to say, would you say that?
Yes, I believe they are going in the right direction.
Okay, fine. That's really happy to hear, because nowadays with the situation even in Europe and things like that, I'm not sure if everything goes the right direction. But if I'm listening to you and all the summarize about Congo, it definitely seems that there's a big development since that independence in 1960, right? And it's going now in the right direction. Education is getting more and everything.
Yeah, it's promising. Obviously, there is a lot of work ahead, but it's very promising, and I still very positive about my country. I really want to see a brighter future for it because it deserves it a lot.
Yeah, and you have the opportunities, to be honest. You have all the raw material, you have the nature, so there's a lot of chance, and hopefully that the development goes on and there will be a brighter future for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thanks a lot, and in the end, as we already mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, let's speak a bit in your local language.
Yes, let's go. Ready for the challenge?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm ready, but let's start with the easy words like thanks, please, and so on, and then I try to remind them and repeat them.
Well, Lingala, there is a lot of French word inside. So it's like a mix. It's like a mix of French word and Lingala. So when you say, for example, how are you? It's Ndenge Nini.
Ndenge Nini.
Yeah.
Ndenge Nini, well, it's actually not so hard.
It's not hard.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the easiest way to say how are you. Then you can say it in different way, of course. But
we stick with Ndenge
Nini. And if you want to say I'm good, you say Malamu.
Malamu?
Yeah.
Malamu.
Naza means I am. So na, za, li, Malamu.
Nasa, Malamu.
This is the short version, and the long version, Nazali, Malamu.
Nazali,
Malamu. Yeah, Malamu is good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or...
What means just thanks or please?
Well, thanks, you just say merci.
Okay, well...
Or I don't think there is another word to say thanks, like merci, or just in French, merci. Or, yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. And de rien is like...
The French, but I think they have a word to say that, but it's not very much used in Lingala, or it maybe does not exist. I don't know.
What's the most difficult word in Lingala?
Wow. Well, that even for me it's difficult. What's the... Wow. They will curse me if they if they see that I'm not able to say that.
No, that's very challenging from my side. So
Yeah,
probably that's
challenging.
yeah. We should speak next time in advance about.
But I have a dictionary, Lingala in French. I will give it to you.
Yeah,
next
yeah.
time.
Give it to me. Before I am traveling to Congo, I will let you know, and you can give me the dictionary that I can study while I'm flying to
Exactly.
Congo.
That will be helpful.
Well, Sylvaine, we spoke about a lot of positive things, but there's not just positive things happening in Africa, right? So we have to really mention it because people should know it. There is a big conflict with Rwanda, right?
Yes.
Happening in Rwanda.
Yes.
So
Since 1996, that's when we had the first civil war, and the previous president was destituted. And I just think that it's very unfair what is happening, and no one is mentioning about it. It's happening, and we turn the page on these events. And I really think that it's terrible because of these mines and multinational companies who are taking over this precious material, and many others obviously are putting people's life at stake. And not just at stake, but these people are traumatized for life. Not to mention women who are being raped due to civil wars. We had about 100 different rebellious troops coming mainly from Rwanda. Obviously, we do not mention that they are sent by the Rwandese government, and I don't have the information for that, but most of them are financed by private company institution. And the cause of these wars is basically that women are being raped, but in a tremendous way. It's an atrocity. It means that they are being cut in pieces. Their intimate part are cut in pieces, and they're left wounded for life, or they are impregnated and without wanting to be. And this could be children as young as 10 years old. And then they are refused by their own family because they have lost their dignity as a woman. And men are also not finding their place in the family. So they are hitting in the most important part of humanity, which is a family. This is the nuclear center of the family, is the woman. Because the woman needs to be honored by her husband and create a healthy and stable family. And this is where they're hitting. And they're doing it without a heart. They are heartless. While they're killing, traumatizing people in these villages who have no means to protect themselves. And more than 6 million people have been killed. I think even the number must be higher than this. And I don't understand why any government are not taking major steps or major decision to stop this war, or to I don't know, to protect these people. It's just beyond my understanding. I don't understand what is happening. I wish, and I'm powerless because I cannot do anything. And when you try to obviously go into this kind of conflict, you are killed. Obviously, you try to mention that to the government, somehow you are killed or poisoned. So no one is talking about it. It's just happening, and because it's Congo or Africa in general, it's fine. No, it's wrong. Imagine this happened here in Austria.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm just speechless at the moment, because just to hear the numbers or how they get killed. Well, honestly, I have no words for that. Yeah.
It is. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Switch the role. Imagine this is happening in Austria. 6 million people are killed since years. in total. Women have been raped, their genital parts have been cut off, they are having kids out of these men, and there is no anything for them to create an economy. What if this happened here? Everybody will be against it, and look what happened to Ukraine, and everybody is sending help, but nothing is happening in Congo, and it's still going because of these raw materials that needs to be exploited, and the local people are not even taking advantage of it. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't understand why people who have much power are not doing anything to protect these people and letting another country wanting to steal a part of Congo. Congo, it's a unity. It's one country. It's like telling, I don't know, Germany who will do another war with Austria because they believe that another part of Austria is theirs. When no, it does not make sense.
Yeah, it's things what in the Second World War happened, like when Hitler fought, Sudetenland is part of Germany, so that's where war happens.
Yeah.
So,
but that was, back in the days. Today we're in 2023, and this still happened until today. People are running away. Not even a few months ago it happened. Like you had a massive escape of people running away from villages to go more internally because they are not safe there.
Yeah, not at all.
It's not safe, and I don't understand. I don't even have the words to explain this and how to share the pain. And
yeah, if our listeners are interested in that, they can make their own research for sure. I definitely feel how hard it is for you to speak about it because you're directly into that and connected to that. Well, but it's so important that people get to know that outside of Africa too, and that people speak about it and get aware about this, that something can happen maybe afterwards. Like organizations like UN or European Union anyway, they are strong and they should help that and stop this genocide.
This genocide, that would be something that I definitely will ask the European Union or any external help to stop this kind of conflicts. I mean, there are people behind those people who are giving them the material to kill, etc. Because these people are people without education and they're just trained to kill, right? So there is something much bigger behind them who are pushing them and giving them the means to do this. So if they are able to give them the means to do this, they also have a mean to stop this. By why they're not stopping? Because they have their own interests. And the interest is these raw materials that they find and they can have in cheaper way and they can have control. It's just all about greediness. Greediness over humanity, human rights. If human rights are so important, if the environment is so important, why people who have this power are not doing anything and then just letting this thing happen? That's it. So it would be great that everyone open their eyes and stop just looking in their own plates and to understand that this is still happening worldwide, in another word, and somehow everyone is playing a part of it. When you're buying your phone, when you're buying your computer non-stop, you are actually maybe killing someone in that country without wanting it, without knowing it, because you are investing, you are financing a multinational company who is employing people locally to work in bad condition, and they are being killed because of this specific material use to generate revenue and give them more power. So it all goes all around. Yeah. It's an ecosystem that we need to stop somehow.
It's so important that we share that around the world. Yeah, and let's hope that in the future it's getting in a better direction, and genocide is going to be stopped better yesterday than tomorrow.
Yes, hopefully.
Well, thanks a lot that you got so deep into your soul, I would say. It was very emotional in the end, and I'm still speechless, and I will hope that I never experience things like that, and I will try to help as much as possible for me as a local here, that things like that doesn't continue. Well, Sylvaine, it was a pleasure, and thanks for everything and all the words, and we are fighting together against cruel things, right?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening, and if you like the story, please share it and follow us on our YouTube and Instagram channel, Communicate or Communicate with the World. And a special thanks to Europe Direct for supporting this project.